Hello Libra! Thank you very much for tuning into this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using Tarot Grand Lux by Churro Marchetti. Website at the top is usgamesinc.com. Supportive Oracle cards. Wisdom of the Hidden Realms Oracle cards by Colette Baron Reed. On the back of the book, there's the Colette Baron Reed website. Feel free to check that out. There's a couple more websites under that if you're interested in checking it out. We also do about the illustrator, Jenna. I'm putting it in here the whole time anyway. So feel free to freeze frame and check that out. There's some websites at the bottom there. Here's the information on the back of the box. And more websites down there. Okay, if you so want to. What do we have for Libra? Sometimes Libra likes that card. We have to go a little farther. You know what? The Hanged Man is showing up. What is this card? Hungry Ghosts. Okay. That's other people, though, I have a feeling. That's kind of off to the side at the bottom of the deck. Hungry Ghost talks about wanting something that maybe you can't really have, having a hard time letting go of something. But I feel like that might be other people, and whatever you're dealing with, you might have people who just won't let go. So that might be a thing. It feels like they're a smaller part of the situation. I don't think they're going to stop things from happening. I just feel like it's something, the more you're aware of it, the more you can work through it. Just as long as you're aware of it, you'll be fine. I'm not seeing that stop. Even though you do have the Hanged Man showing up in the future, we'll get to that in a minute, I feel like that's to your advantage, actually. What's going on right now is, like, you're looking at a change. Change is coming. I feel like you're looking at it in the sense of, like, all right, change is, it's coming. I know it's coming, but to what degree? It's kind of like the difference between, like, in the house we're living in, it's a big house. Are we changing rooms? Are we changing neighborhoods? Are we changing cities? Are we changing states? Are we changing countries? How much are we changing? Because I don't know. It's like, what's coming? The change coming up, we literally could just change the room we're living in. It could be that minimal, but we were going to at least have to do that. Not likely it'll be that minimal, but it could be that. We could end up just kind of looking at, like, this house isn't working for us anymore. We're going to stay in the same neighborhood, just different house, blah, 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 blah. It's the level of change. And I feel like you're already planning to, like, well, what am I going to need? My needs are changing, and that's what's actually going to dictate what the next change is going to be. So whatever I need is going to change where I go. I think this is working very... See, I'm seeing this other card come in, but I really feel like this is... I don't think this is difficult. Even though it's the Strength card, I feel like this is kind of like down your... That's down your path. Like, strength in the sense of, like, making the best decision, but not having a hard time making it, just trying to make the best one. I don't know how to explain this. Like, I feel like Libra doesn't really like dealing with people who are very bold and people who are very... warlike. I feel like that's very difficult for Libra, and I don't think you're coming up against that. It's more about, I got all these things, I want to make sure I find all the things I need to use and put into the situation. I want to make sure that I keep gathering the information and I go the distance. So it's more about going the distance. That's the strength. You know what I mean? It's not hard to deal with. It's just hard to keep up with it because it takes a lot of stamina. I feel like it's more stamina than... It's the stamina type of strength. Does that make sense? That type of strength. Stamina strength. Okay. And just in case I'm missing something there. Ace of Wands reversed. And then the Strength card on the dice again. you might have a lot to do with what's coming next in the sense of like getting it to go forward. So that might be also the strength, because there are going to be some people who don't like it, but I don't feel like you have to argue with anybody. It's just keeping it going. I still get stamina strength with this. Because I do see you talking to a lot of people, and you know there's going to be pushback. You know that's going to happen. I don't think that's anything new. But it's also kind of like, okay, now I'm seeing it a little different. Like, you know it has to go forward, but you also don't want it to go forward too quickly. Like, whoa, hold on, person. Don't sell the house yet. I haven't made up my mind if we need to sell it yet. It's kind of like, before you put the house on the market, don't. I'm not saying we won't, but I'm not sure yet, so hold on. And also, don't put it on the market until I'm ready, because I don't want people coming in and messing with my space until I've got it in order. So, hold on. So that's part of it, too. Holding back other people from moving forward too quickly is also another level of this. There's a lot. Libra deals with a lot. I know y'all deal with a lot, so that's another level here. As we keep moving forward, there is the Hanged Man showing up, so let's deal with that. The trick is to use this situation... Am I wrong? I was going to say using the situation to your advantage. Was I wrong, though? 7 of Pentacles and the Wheel of Fortune. 7 of Pentacles is kind of like, I could push it forward, but I'm not really ready. But I don't want it to be to the point where it stagnates or gets stuck. I don't want it stuck. It is the Hanged Man. Hanged person? What is it? Hanged Man on this deck. This person, the energy there is kind of like, it shouldn't stay there forever, but it should stay there long enough so you could take inventory of what's going on around you, and using the situation to your advantage. Is that bad? Like, I don't know why I choked on that. The Dragon's Duel is kind of like not empowering those elements that are holding it back too much. Being careful with that. It's kind of like I need to kind of set up like, all right, I need to make a decision. All right, I'm going to give myself 2 months to make this decision. I feel like that's like, give it a timeline, give it a due date, give it a due date, and once you put it out there, I feel like other people will hold you to it, because the people ready to move, they're ready to move now. If you give them like, okay, I'll give you 2 months, like 2 months, like yes, 2 months, this is the date. All right, fine, but that date, I'm putting it on the market. I'm putting the house on the market unless you've made your decision before that moment that we're not going to do it, but I'll do it. I'll wait till that date. Meanwhile, the people who don't want to move ahead are be like, we have to. You get 2 months, though. 2 months. Yep. Get your stuff together. You got 2 months to put yourself together and get yourself ready. All right. I got 2 months to get myself ready, but all right, we're going to go then. Put a due date on it. Put a due date on it is what I keep getting. That's using the Hanged Man energy with the Dragon's Duel. Kind of like, all right, I have to get the most important stuff together by then. I have to make my decision by then. That way it doesn't stagnate so long that it never moves, but then also it holds off the energy to not move forward too quickly to where it catches me off guard. Okay, so we're good. You're meant to move forward in this situation. You are definitely meant to move forward. We've got like 2 other elements, because you're the one that I mentioned this. You got the Magician here. You seem to be in more control than you might realize. So if you're in the position to actually call the shots, then I feel like maybe you do realize. But if you're like a consultant or somebody's asking for your opinion has more weight than you may realize. Your opinion has a lot more weight, so be aware of that. Because when you're ready to go forward, if you set that date, if you like say you should make this the date, if you give somebody that advice, I feel like they're going to follow that advice. So keep that in mind. You're meant to move forward, because whoever you're working with, when I get the Page of Swords, they're listening to you, and they're kind of like, it's kind of like you're calling the shots, and they're just like, you're saying put this there, and they're like okay, and then they just put it there. Okay, now say this, and then they say that. They're literally following you at this point. They're following you to that level. Following you? Yeah, I feel like they're following you to that level. They might be very stressed in the sense of like, this reminds me of somebody who maybe usually leads and usually doesn't have a hard time leading, but all right, if this is a job situation anyway, okay, the job, this is what they're dealing with at the job, then the home life is doing this, then their friends, they're helping their friends, and then they have some other things over to the side. They've got so many things going at this point that if you make it easier for them and they trust you, which I feel like they do, they're just going to go with what you say just to make the load a little lighter. So they're not really going to double check what you're saying either. I feel like you need to be aware of that too. When I'm getting the page doesn't really double check. The page just says, okay, that's what we're going to do, then they just do it. The page isn't somebody to really push back. That's not really a pushback energy. That's somebody who's waiting for information and just kind of goes with it. Keep that in mind. Because they're seeing you as very helpful and they're just kind of going with it. I think that's important for you to be aware of because I don't think that's normal. That may not be normal. That's current energy, but may not be normal energy. Five of Pentacles, in and out. The Lover's card, halfway in, halfway out. For some reason, I feel like this person is like not totally on ball like they usually would be. Whoever's listening to you is not totally... This isn't normally how they do that. I think we already discussed that. Maybe that's just for me to realize, so that's fine. This is meant to move forward. I keep getting that. You could stagnate. That's a possibility. You're supposed to move forward. It's time to move forward in the appropriate time. Set it up so it moves forward. This should not stagnate. This is also, if I'm going to give another analogy, why you want to use the 2-month guideline. Like, you don't have to be 2 months, but you know what I mean, just as an idea. If you don't set that date, you could end up missing the bus, and then you're just going to wait till the next day. So it's like, if you think about it, waiting 2 hours versus waiting a day, or like, for example, say it was Friday, and this is a Monday through Friday bus. You're supposed to leave in 2 hours. You should be in that bus in 2 hours. If you miss it, you might have to wait a good 2 days, 3 actually. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, you might have to wait 3 days before you get your next chance. So waiting 2 hours versus waiting 3 days is a totally different feel. If you're going to equate that to months, 2 hours, like a month per hour, like waiting a couple years versus a couple months, keep that in mind. You're meant to move forward, go forward, move it forward. It is time to go forward, but you could stagnate. Use this energy to your advantage. This should be going to your advantage. Just make sure if you're deciding it goes to your advantage, it will be fine. I feel like you can navigate this. If you don't navigate it, it will stagnate. I think that's the point I'm trying to make here. So, like, if you activate this, we'll be fine. You won't get stuck in that Hanged Man energy. If you just kind of let it work out on its own and you don't use your talents to move it forward, it's just gonna stagnate. And it could end up, something that should take 2 months could take 2 years. If we're gonna equate it to weeks, something that should take a couple weeks could take 6 to 8 months. It's supposed to move forward. Is there anything else I'm supposed to say here? I feel like I jumped back and then forward again at the end here, so I hope that made sense. Because like the point is, don't let this stagnate too long. Set the decision date, and then make sure it keeps going forward. Don't let it stagnate. If you don't activate it, it will stagnate. I think we're good. All right, I'm going to shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below. Same email. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.